So this video is going to be what it was always meant to be, which is getting Lulu sorted out. As you can see, we've had 20 miles an hour wind plus, with 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts for about a week. It's all been southwesterly, so that's coming straight up the lake, and you can see that the effect of that has been, you know, that we've got some good waves on there and some good currents on there, and that is not good for dipping your boat in the water when you're searching for a leak. So with a broken trailer. So we're going to go over to the boat now, and we're going to work out what we're going to do. We're definitely not putting her on the mooring today, because look at that boat there. I've got a new anemometer. A couple of reasons. This one on the left is very cheap, and it just on the reeds. I've had a couple of people borrow it and be with me when I've used it, and they've just gone, that's not right. This one on the right, you can see, is so much more accurate. So we are blowing, you know, a regular 16 to 20 mile an hour, and the gusts are, look at that, force 5, 23 nearly. And as we know, we get out onto those pontoons and it would be a bit higher, but we get out into the middle of the lake and that wind is much higher. Oh gosh, we just pulled another force 5. So we're not going on the water today, I'm afraid, not with a limping boat. I'm going to leave the two guys that rescued Lulu a nice bottle of wine, so let's see if we can get in. Okay, the answer to that question is no, we need the key as well. Up here is the sort of sail locker room. Not much left in there, to be honest with you. I'll try and leave them in here and let someone know. That's the first thing that's gone right today. So we're on a roll. We're on a roll. So those two guys pulled my beautiful boat in, and I wanted to just say thank you. So everything's out of the boat that we need out. I've left 2 of the floorboards in, and I've taken 2 out, so we've got access to under there. Now the first thing we need to do actually is look at this trailer. So there you go, there's where the cradle is split in the middle. Now I thought originally that was on a weld, and I think it is, because that metal is at an angle. So yeah, you know what, if you look inside there, let me see if you can have a closer look. Look at the rust in there. Oh wow, it's really rusty. So do you know what, I think that seam has already, oh, we've got a sail going wrong here, but I think that seam was rusting from the inside, or it was cracked already. And you know what, perhaps this is a blessing in disguise. I'm gonna go down to the ironmongers and the welder we've got here at Barla, and I'm going to get his advice if we can, and we'll take it from there. But I'm already thinking, do you know what, I've got to replace all these rollers, and these rollers are like 20-30 pounds each. So that's 40. You get those rollers with a new cradle. So I'm thinking we get a new cradle. I don't know if you can see again there. It's just so rusty inside. Just borrow this tyre. There we go. So I want the boat leant back as far as I can, because I want actually all the water to rush into the back here, because the first thing I want to test is that drain plug. Right, here's my bung, here's my pliers, and we are going to put this bung in, and then what we're actually going to do, you know, my first thoughts were to get the boat in the water. Now I've got problems with that, haven't I? Because if we get the boat in the water, first of all, look at the water. It's a dreadful day for this kind of thing. Because the trailer's broken, I don't know what effects that might have. If we get the boat in the water and she has got a leak and we need to get her out, and then that cradle snaps fully, then, you know, that's going to be a nightmare. A friend of mine has told me, I hope you don't mind. I hope he doesn't mind me calling him a friend, but he said, don't put the boat in the water. Put the water in the boat and see what comes out. And it's kind of pretty obvious, isn't it, really, when you think about it? But obviously too obvious for me to think of. So that's what we're going to do. That's why we've tilted the boat right back as much as we can. We aren't even here, so, but we can see the water's quite close. And then what we're going to do is put a bung in, and we are then going to fill the boat up with water, and that'll just be me with this bucket over here, trudging backwards and forwards to the lake until we got the desired amount. Here's one I filled earlier. That's the bung, well and truly underwater. I mean, you'd see bubbles, wouldn't you, if that was actually dripping out? I'm just going to put a little mark there and in there. Oop. Oop. There you go, that'll do. And we're just going to see how that works. Now look, you can see there's a lot of water in that side where those little screws that I mentioned come through, which I've seen on other boats. They're submerged. The whole rudder band is submerged. The bung is submerged, or the drain plug is submerged. And then we've got a lot of water in here. Now, you can see the water almost goes to nothing here. We're going to see how that fares. Well, we're going to do something else for like an hour or even two, and then what we'll do, we will move that water right to the front of the boat, because I want to test two places that also could be an issue. Right, we're going to give the hull a quick once over, just checking for any obvious, you know, holes or cracks, anything at all, you know. It's very, very unlikely that we're going to find, you know, that's the problem. I mean, all you can see is my peeling anti-foul, which we're going to address come summertime. And then we're going to look here. It's a little bit hard because we're parked right next to another boat at the moment, but we can get there. So here's the front. So this is the. Well, you can see there's a little bit of a scratch down there, isn't there? But I think that's very superficial. Yeah, there's nothing that's glaring. That drip test from the scupper. There's nothing glaring, so I'm pretty confident the hull's sound. The thing I'm going to just do, I mean, that doesn't look good, does it? That doesn't look good at all, does it? Look at that. That's interesting. The drain plug is, you can't quite see it. Let me see if I can get the camera up there. The drain plug is here, look, and there's nothing coming out of that, is there? But that is worrying. Look at that. So we got ourselves a little leak here. Ah, okay, we found it. If you look here, look at the boat, it's bent. It's actually bent. Look, the water line is dropping. So now, the bad news for this is an enclosed buoyancy tank. So to fix this internally is going to require a lot of work. Oh man. Yeah. But that's our leak, isn't it? That is our leak. You know, I don't know if I did that when I pulled the boat out, or whether that has been done trailering or something, but it's definitely the leak. Look at it. Okay, we're gonna have to work this out. So yeah, so it's under here, isn't it? And it's just buckled and cracked something, and it's let's have a look at that. See where the droplets are forming. What's worrying is they're forming along the whole side of the boat. Yeah, it looks like the whole, there's like probably a crack along there. It's difficult to know exactly where it's coming from, isn't it? But yeah, there's a crack, definitely. It's this seam that is cracked. Yeah, so I think that is going to need to drain before we can do anything. The good news is that there's nothing coming through the mast step, there's nothing wet at the front of the boat, and this is now pretty well underwater. The only thing we now got to do is check if we just got to check those bolts on the centerboard box. If they're sound, then you know, I think we've found the leak. So I'm checking the pin or the bolts for the centerboard under here, and they're actually really low down there. Now you may be able to make that out. I'm going to put the camera underwater. Now they are, I think it's just there. Now they are a little bit of a bump there, and I'm hoping that's not a little crack on that. And then the same over this side, which is there. So I'm hoping I got some good video on of those. They're both submerged fully, and I think if they were leaking, if the fiberglass was cracked where the pin was, I think water would be getting in from under the boat in the centerboard box and then into the bilge. So if the bilge is submerged, water should be going out of those cracks into the centerboard box and out. And as you can see, there's absolutely nothing going on here at all. Anyway, we've just been out on the pontoons because he's got a course tomorrow and he wants to know whether it's going to be on or off. And we were getting in excess of 40 mile an hour gusts with both our anemometers, and it was blowing an average basically of 30 mile an hour. It's wild out there, and when you get out on the pontoon, it's absolutely crazy. And of course the waves look much bigger when you get out there, and they come crashing over your feet and that, because the pontoon's quite level with the water at the moment. Right, we're going to just check a few things now again. So there's no water coming out of there, which is good news. We've got that water, you know, stuck in there. So I think the bolts are okay on the centreboard. We've still got, well, actually the drips have stopped on here now. That's interesting. That is really interesting. That is interesting, isn't it? So what may have happened then is that buoyancy tank's literally just emptied now. So yeah, or the attitude of the boat means it's dripped as much as it's going to. What will be interesting to do now is push the boat back to where it was. So we're going to put it right back, and then we're going to see if that water comes out again. There you go, water's rushing back. So you can see it's right up here now. So let's see what's happening here. There you go, and we've got drips. I've literally just come in here to have a break from it all, to be honest with you. I think I've just had one of the guys have a look at the boat, and he says, yeah, it's annoying that it's in the buoyancy tank. He says, isn't that always the case? He said the water would probably, would definitely have got in there and could rise up and then spill out of that little hole at the top. And he said actually wouldn't need much water because it's full of polystyrene. He said just drill a hole in the both buoyancy tanks, and he said put a hatch in. He said you'll be absolutely fine with that. They're pretty waterproof. So he said and then replace the polystyrene with other stuff. There's plenty of other stuff, bags, things like that you can put in. And he said you'll be fine. And he said, yeah, you probably will need to repair that. I'm looking at it now, by the way, dripping away again. He says you probably are going to need to repair from the inside and the outside. You're going to need access. But he said the good news is, he said, if it's fiberglass, it's fixable. Let's get this water out. There's the water coming out. God, blimey, I'm getting soaked because the wind is so strong. I'm doing this. Right, we're going to just see if we can get some of these screws replaced, because as you can see, this one's come off, and I've got these like little size 10 screws. That, oh gosh, my hands are numb. It's not actually that cold, it's just the wind is making everything cold. And I'm hoping these would be able to grip and purchase and give these a little bit more life. Oh, they're definitely gripping a bit better. There we go. Now, some of these are kind of okay. So, and some aren't. So all I'm doing is going around. See, these are fine. If they threaded, I just replace them. If they're okay, I'm just going to leave them. Yeah, so they're okay. So I'm going to go around the whole boat and do that now. All right, that's all these done. Some of them I mean, that's okay, but these are threaded. Some of them had like really big screws in anyway. I think this one here is really loose, but you know, we're gonna have to work that one out. Fortunately, that one, I think, oh no, that's in a buoyancy tank. Okay, so we're just gonna have to, when the weather gets better, we'll just have to get some epoxy in some of these holes and we'll just, you know, bung them up. The other thing I'm gonna do is measure this. So because this is such an awkward sort of shape, I thought what I could do is get a little marker and try and mark that off. But what I didn't realise is it actually curves, doesn't it? So I'm just aware when I stand this side, I can hear very slight cracking, and that's the hull, I reckon, not liking me being here now. But we'll do our best. So could we get a bit of wood? We'd just have to bend that, wouldn't we? That's interesting. Well, let's see if we can just get that profile. Anyway, there we go. Gives us something to play with, and then we can maybe sort of start thinking about bending that around here. But I wanted to block this piece of wood up somehow, so then we can put, you know, we can screw stuff in here. But that's going to prove difficult, isn't it? That actually, we're going to have to work out how to do that. But I wanted to get the basic shape on there, so that's another little job done. Let's get this sensible seat back on. Okay, I've been looking forward to this. This is the Bowsprit, and this is how this is going to work. So let's bring you right up close first. First thing we need to do is get this pin out. So that comes out. Then the Bowsprit, hopefully, there you go, will click under there. This pin will go in, and that should hold that in place. Whoop. Now, this end will be pushed out like this, and this is where it'll be cleated off. So what I'll do, I'm just going to tie it on. Will it tie to there? I'm not sure. Now, the thing is, this will be a little bit further back because the cleats are going to be about here and here. So first of all, we're going to have that a little bit further back. So that's going to hold the cleat down. But look, when it's flying, it's going to pull up like this. So that really stops it just going forward and aft mainly. Obviously it's slipping because it's here. And then what we'll do, we'll have another one of these that will come from, say, here, and will connect to the little eye here. I can just reach that when I need to, and that will stop it going up as well, just having all that force on the pin. But I'm quite hopeful for that. It seems to work, and I think we need to get the cleats in. I'm going to do that now, and then we'll just see how it feels then. But I think really with this, the acid test will be just giving it a go. You know, in sailing, you have no idea sometimes of how big the forces are. And you think everything's fine, and then you go and sail, and and it breaks. So yeah, let's go and get the cleats. There's one crazy guy out there on his windsurfer. He must be going for it. He really must. Look at that. Wow, look at that. Did you see him? rather him than me, to be honest with you, today. I hope he can get back on it, actually. Oh yeah, look at that. Those things fly when they want to, don't they? They really do. Just realised I need to get this sticky tape off here, otherwise it just will not come off. So these blocks, I mean, that block is actually quite dry now. I'm hoping we're not going to get a massive amount more rain. They're just softwood blocks, these. The idea was I'm just going to, you know, epoxy them. And, you know, but this one's wet, so they should dry out and they should epoxy. They're only chocks, they're not got any weight or load bearing, so they should be fine, those, when we get some warmer weather. Right, let's get this on here. Now I'm going to put these here. I'm just checking they're out the way of these fair leads there, so that'll be fine. So I'm going to put it just bang in the middle of these two, only further back, and we're going to start struggling. I think that'll be too far back, to be honest with you. They're really solid as well. I like the idea of having these, just these extra little backup cleats on the front here. So now you'll see I've got a set at the front, set at midships just there, and I've got a set at the back. All of them can be used to moor up, and interestingly, the guys actually use these cleats to moor up when I was when the boat was moored up but sunk on the pontoons. So they're more than strong enough on the lake, at least, as well, and it'll give me a degree of security as well, because this one, you know, it's just one, isn't it? I always get I always wonder how strong that would be. Right, let's get the other one in. Right, that's that one done. Now this furling line is fine. We tested it with the other cleats. So let's now try this out. So what I was thinking is that would go, oh, let's make sure we get the right one there. That would go under. And this will go under. And then we could actually pull it back and then get that nice and tight. Oh, obviously we've got to, oh, that's interesting, we're going to have to make sure we get it in the middle, actually. Well, it doesn't, yeah, that's it. There we go. Okay, and then that. There. That's really tight, look at that. Even on its own, that's tight. So it will shift back a little bit, forward a little bit. We need to sort that out. And we've got plenty of forward. And then you can see, let's go over here. You can see where there's going to be a line from the front there up to there, and it's going to keep the sail really nice and forward of the jib and keep out the way of the jib, which is going to be brilliant. Man, this weather, if anything, it's getting worse. This is horrible. I'm really fed up, especially having just been in my nice cozy camper van for 20 minutes, having a nice tomato and cheese and tomato toasty. It was lovely, and now it's grimmer than ever out here. So the buoyancy tanks, really, they start here, but actually we just need to know where they end, because if we're going to put a hatch in here, that's you know, we need to know the size. So the buoyancy tank starts there. So if we say the buoyancy tank is that long. That is the biggest width. So it's that long. And then we're going to do the width, which I don't know how high they go. But that'll be the width. So we've got a rough idea of the size, and obviously the hatch will need to be much smaller than that. It'd be rude to go without trying our new silicone bungs for here. So let's have a little look. Oh yeah, in fact they could be bigger, but that's pretty good. That is pretty good. So I think we're going to get the cover on. We're going to go home, have a nice cup of coffee in a warm house. Enough of this sailing nonsense. And then what we'll do, we'll need to get on our toes this week, get loads of equipment that we need for sorting these problems out. There is money in the budget, so you know I have got a budget with these boats. I'm not made of money, but we have got money, and we've definitely got an emergency budget as well. So I'm hoping we'll be able to get 2 hatches, and I'm hoping we'll be able to then get this crack sorted from the inside. We'll get that watertight. We shall then get the cradle sorted. We can then get the boat on and off and on and off, and we'll be fine. So we'll get there, and we'll get there quicker than we think. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.